Hey everyone, it's Foxx from modelmaking.guru here. Hello, and welcome to a tiny issue 2.5 of the Fanhome Dodge Charger build part work. Just a quick catch-up episode, make you aware of a couple of things that followed on from issues 1 and 2 before I start filming issues 3. Now, one of them you'll have known about because I did it on camera. One of the other issues you won't have known about, but it's something you might come across if you're doing it yourself, and I just wanted to put your mind at rest on something. So first of all, if you watched issue 2, you will have seen that I completely snapped off one of the attachment pegs that holds the air scoop in to the supercharger assembly. Basically, when you're putting this top piece on and this framework under here, you have to have it exactly horizontal to that. You can't have it at a slight angle at all. If it's not exactly right and you try wiggling it around to fit it in, those pegs are very thin and they are prone to be snapped, and that's what happened. Ideally, this would have been a metal part, so yeah, I'm hoping I'll never have to take this off again, because I'll have exactly the same issue if I have to take it off again. Now, what I had to do was I went out and bought issues 1 and 2 to get the replacement parts to put this back together. So I took it all apart, put the replacement parts in, reassembled it, and now it's back together. I now have to hope that you never need to take this apart, because yeah, I'll be putting myself at risk again if that happens. So I just wanted to make you aware I have now replaced that. Also, I replaced the component here, the front piece of the scoop there, just under the butterflies, where it was cracked. I've replaced that part, and I've replaced the part where I snapped the pegs off on this piece of framework here. So that has been done. The other thing I wanted to make you aware of was an issue with the steering wheel that wasn't apparent when I built it, but it became apparent afterwards. When I built the steering wheel, you have the metal steering column rod that slots into the steering wheel framework there. When I built it, you have a notch cut out at each end. One is where it links into the steering linkage, and this end is where it slots into the steering wheel itself. On mine, I don't know if you'll see, there is a slight gap between the wheel there, hub, and the column. I can get my tweezers in there. There's still a little bit of the notch sticking out. It doesn't go all the way in. And I was a bit nervous about this, because I thought, well, either it means it's going to stick too far down and not meet up with the steering assembly, the linkage assembly, or it's going to stick out the dashboard. So I bought myself a replacement issue and built the steering wheel. And in the one I got, there is not any excess gap. It fits perfectly flush. Now, the confusing thing is here, this end, these ends are both exactly the same size. You can see there, they're exactly the same size. They fit together. And when you put them side by side, they're exactly the same length. Because at first I thought this rod was sticking out too far. But when I put them side by side, they are exactly the same length. So whichever one of these I use, it's going to attach to the steering linkage and it's going to stick out the dashboard exactly the same amount. Now, I don't know how this has happened, because these are cast metal parts. It's just cast into a mould. So unless they've changed the mould, not quite sure what's gone on. Unless, they've changed the cutout. I may have been sent a part that was a prototype, because they do like an initial prototype run and then they redo some of the bits and they send them out again. So maybe I was sent an initial prototype part, and then the one I bought myself was the current run, because other people have said they haven't had this issue. Or it may well be that the one I got was the current one, and the one that fits perfectly was the original prototype that I bought. I don't know. I've no way to know. However, the reason I'm telling you this is it doesn't seem to make any difference at all to the actual length of the steering column. I don't think it'll make any difference to the steering wheel sticking out of the dashboard. So if you are building this and you do have this little gap, if it feels like this isn't sitting all the way home, if it's not pushing all the way in, it's not a problem. It's absolutely fine. Just looking at this, I was trying to see if this part perhaps is longer or shorter, but I can't see any difference. So I don't know. Either way, though, it doesn't seem to make any difference. The steering columns and the wheel are exactly the same length. Now I've got two, so I've got a spare. So yeah, if you do get that, don't panic. It seems to be exactly fine. I did make some inquiries on the interwebs. One Italian builder, who's months and months ahead of us, said he had exactly the same. He had the little notch sticking out here, but his steering wheel fit perfectly. So I don't think it's going to be any kind of problem. I just don't want anybody panicking if they get that. I didn't realise when I was building it. I'm like, yay, happy, happy. Only later I looked at it and thought, wait, is that supposed to... Have I not got this in all the way? I don't know. I panicked a bit. So as I was buying issue 2 for the air scoops, I got issue 1 as well. Just assembled that. So there you go. Just wanted to do you a quick update to say I fixed that, and that is not a problem, I don't think. When it comes to assembly, I think that'll be fine. Anyway, I need to go off and film episode 3 now for issue 3, where we start to build the actual face, the Dodge Charger face. Yeah. So I'll leave you there, but take care of yourselves, go make something awesome, go be awesome, and until next time, I shall say adios, amoebas.